Records.
My mama lied. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Makes sense. I am your co-host. No, your main host. I gotta stop saying I'm building you from main host. I am your host, KP, aka Keanu Perry, aka you know by now. And this is Make It Make Sense. Welcome back. Welcome back to our second 5-day show. It was Tuesday, and you do not know we are on from 4 to 5 from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and what 5 to 7 or 6 to we don't even do it on Thursdays and Fridays. Welcome back to another show. We got a lot of information today, like I always been in this big city with these busy panhandlers and all this stuff. You know about now. And like always, we started the show hoping that you've done something productive today, or at least one productive thing today. If you're not, try to get up and do something. Get off your butt and at least try to get something accomplished, like learning about the next city council meeting or the next water hearing or something. Don't sit around and expect somebody to tell you all the time. Get up and do your own due diligence. And like we always do, like I always say, we like to start up the show with a moment of silence for the ones that have not made it or can't make it. All right.
That's why you can't let KP start the show. He just let me off completely. He's supposed to be the co-host. I'm messing and your co-host.
And my co-host,
there you go.
Abdul Swad.
Now, first off, you gotta understand the type of props it takes for this young man to say my name like that. And some of you all should be embarrassed that be just stuttering through my name and the way he lights it up. And I appreciate you, yes, sir.
Yeah. You want to say my full name too?
Not the full given. The Keanu part, yes. That's also given is Keanu Perry.
Keanu LaTetrick Perry.
See, that's just because I wasn't gonna give it to him. I was gonna let you tell him first. I don't have a middle name, right? That middle name puts it all together. Say it again.
Keanu LaTetrick.
LaTetrick. You have to have pride in that, boy. That's that lineage, A lot of times I know that some people, and this is just a sidebar, but some people have had to change their names, so they get very mad at Black culture when we choose our names. And it's just a sidebar, So a lot of folks from Germany, from Italy, a lot of other places, they wanted to merge into mainstream. So instead of having their name, they shortened it to something like Thomas or Thompson, or making it very simple. They lost their heritage and just consider themselves white, when in fact they weren't white. They weren't English. They were from a whole different country, most likely one that had been conquered by English. So it was like a double whammy. They not only got conquered by England, but then they had to come to America and assimilate. So Irish people, for example.
So that's what they gave me the name.
Yeah. Irish people that assimilate heavy are particularly embarrassing to their country. The Irish, the heavy police officers, the ones that go around beating up Black people, the ones that sit up there with their hand clasped up, they're heavily embarrassing to their country because the term white was a term given by England. And at the time the term white was given, a lot of Irish folks were indentured servants at that point. So it's a slave term, not just to us, but to a lot of other Europeans that were not white. So the irony of Irish folks being indentured servants that were treated almost equivalent to slaves, which was what Bacon's Rebellion, that's all another story, was about. They weren't being paid. The irony is that when the term white was created, they were still being abused. The same Irish folks that you see beating up
the servants were being abused.
Yeah,
they got their names changed.
Yeah, they get that. Absolutely. But this is what you'll give you. At least you're not that word. That's your. And
they were still breaking all out. Like, well, what are you saying?
Yeah, well, what they don't want to talk about is back then, and a lot of back then, they were like, no, we're not taking it. We need our money.
Yeah.
And they looked at the only other people that they figured had the motivation and the courage to fight the tobacco planters, which were a lot of them the enslavers, and that was the enslaved Africans or Aboriginals, however you'd like to look at it, right? And so then we got together. Bacon's Rebellion or Revolution, or however you may call it, is when the two combined together. A lot of the indentured servants and the enslaved Black people. And from there, all of a sudden, the term white came up, and you can never have that mix anymore.
So
And
I had that conversation with my brother, but it wasn't as intelligent as that. But I was telling him like, yeah, we basically they went through the same thing we did, not on the same level, but at a level where they felt like they were being, retributed against too. They felt like they were being.
yeah, they absolutely were.
If it's somewhere you want to go back to, he was like, what's somewhere you want to go back to as a black man? I was like, well, I'll go to Ireland. I'll go back with the Irish.
Ironically, that's the only place outside of the homeland that I've ever wanted to visit. With West Island. Outside of going to, just being the places that we're everywhere. But yeah, absolutely.
And he was like, man, they gonna whoop your ass.
No, see, he's thinking about the coons.
Yeah.
Like that, every race has their coon. And you have to understand the IRA, or the Irish Republican Army, right along with the Black Panther Party, and actually coordinated with a lot of Black nationalist groups. So there's a togetherness we've always had from a state of oppression with Irish people. Not these clowns you see over here with police uniforms on what's that show on TV with Tom Selleck, Blue, this type of stuff where they're just going around abusing people. And you're talking about a culture where English would rape their wives, push them into famines, starve them to death, then took them into enslavement. And so, in every place, just like us, when we talk about this current administration being plantation Democrats, every culture has somebody in their culture that's screwing the whole culture, So, yeah, I mean, it's and a lot of those Scottish, Irish folks that helped subdue the Irish are the same ones that came over here and went up into these hills, Natchez and so forth, and murdered these natives because the white folks that came over didn't have the ability, skill set, or fighting ability to do it. Run tell that to all these white folks in Mississippi keep talking about how much they fought. You couldn't even fight the people that were there. You brought in the Scottish Irish to fight them. I'm going way off here, but I'm sorry. Sometimes it's lie. White superiority is a problem because it hurts the people that believe it on both sides, right? When you yell about how that made me think about it.
Wait, what was all of it be like a turn down light? I don't know.
No, that's it. No. What I was talking about was the fact that the Scottish Irish were used to murder a lot of what they call Native Americans. That was just a sidebar in terms of. But then, you have so much you have so many of the white supremacist movement that says we did all of this, and it's just so in so many ways you didn't. You didn't come up with these ideas. You didn't understand how to grow and how to lead, and you didn't even kill the people that you took the land from. You brought in those Scottish Irish people to do that.
Okay, so would that be like, how?
I think we got.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, how we get to going.
Oh, call back in, Dolly. When we get to going, we get to going. I'm so sorry. It can be a shooting happening going.
We'll be locked in. We're locked into. But what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say. So how some Africans will be like, well, we don't like those Americans, but they, even if it was an African that came from Africa, like recently, and they'll be like, we don't like those Americans. They'll be still talking about African because of that same situation. Like more than likely, you probably was a.
Yeah, and there yes, but I think that even there, the point that I'm saying kind of sticks. You'll have professors, folks that came over here from another country. We got a call citizen. We got folks that have come over from another country, and the reason they ran from their country is because. Yeah. Oh, I didn't have that. You know what? That they were calling. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I tend to use there's one of these mics that I like a lot more now that I'm leaning towards it, so I apologize. But what I was saying, young man, was a lot of times when folks listen, you talk about that. And one thing about us is we don't share from things. When you talk about the FBA, that's the Foundational Black American Movement, right? You have a lot of people that see that get a lot of folks twisted against each other. And what I say is twofold. You can't label a whole people because a lot of times whoever's doing dirt to you probably doing dirt to their own family too. That's the same we used to say in business was if an employee's stealing from you in one place, they're probably stealing from you somewhere else. So if they're coming in and clocking out late and clocking in late and clocking out early, they're probably not doing their work on the computer somewhere else as well. So a lot of people that are dirty like that, they're doing the same things whether they're back home or here. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether they're in the Congo, whether they're in West Jackson, whether they're in East Orange, New Jersey. It doesn't matter. A dirty person is a dirty person. Let me say that. Having said that, there's something to be said, and you've got to speak up when folks can come. And there's a foundational Black American is just speaking to folks that got frustrated with us not benefiting from the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, and instead other folks benefiting. And in order for them to benefit, now we talk about those immigrating from Africa and other places. In order for them to benefit, they had to separate from us completely. So you're reaping the benefits of our ancestors' blood, but you can't work together with us to help pull us up, because that is the actual de facto agreement that this Republican government makes with you when you come in, just like the Indian part. When I talk about Surinder Singh and the Indian Stormers Association, you don't hear me talking about provinces in India. There's too many good people for me to start talking about provinces in India. For this clown who's comparing a six-pack of beer to somebody's life to be the representative of all Indians.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the foundational part.
Yeah.
You're not foundational, no matter what race you are, whether it's Indian.
Yeah. It's not a knock. It's saying that you understand that we have certain experiences here, especially when you talk Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, certain experiences that are unique to this area. And those experiences are what we have to move through collectively. So that doesn't say we don't have brotherhood or Pan-Africanism. Those things are all beautiful. In order to rise up against the oppressor, you better believe in paying everything black.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You better believe in paying everything black. Paying Brazilian, paying everything. So you're a fool. I don't like them black people over there. That's niggardly thinking. But for you to say, listen, in Mississippi, we were enslaved, then sharecropped, then we're cheated of everything up to this point. And this is what we're fighting for. Now you come over here and jump into Valley State, and now you're a professorship, and you may come from another place. Now that doesn't give you the right to step in there and then have a dictate what we're trying to do or work against us. Yeah. But that's a person probably doing the same thing at home.
Well, I'm gonna make sense call you on there.
Excellent. How you doing there, my brother?
Pretty good, man. I love y'all show, man. I try to tune in every chance I get. Well, man, I heard something yesterday saying that I don't know how true it is. I need you guys maybe clarify for me that a little gerrymandering trying to get into Mr. Billy Thompson district. I heard they're trying to rewrite that district and do a little gerrymandering. I don't know how true it is, but I'm gonna hang up and listen to you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you. No, that's
Favorite true.
yeah. And it's funny. Go ahead.
It
First.
didn't start with Billy Thompson district. It started with what I want to say. It started in city council. It started in Jackson when they did the redistricting for the voting. I think they gave like each other more. Like they gave more room for the wards. I forgot how exactly went.
Yeah, no. They're talking about on a larger level. You're right.
Yeah, I'm talking.
We started here. Yeah. It starts with the yeah. You keep going with it. So we're comparing what you're talking about is the Supreme Court ruling that we recently had that made it harder to challenge maps based on race. And then subsequently, Mississippi's only majority black congressional district, which was what the brother's talking about, which is represented by Betty Thompson, you have Mississippi leaders openly talking about eliminating or redrawing that district. Yeah. What the young man is saying is, let's start from the micro and move to the macro. So he's looking at the redistricting that happened right here in Jackson, Mississippi as a micro version, if you want to talk more about that, where you saw more black people pushed out of Foot's ward, and you saw, after you saw Hartley and Foot campaign, and then you saw Foot narrowly win, and then you saw a shift happen across. And with the brother on there is talking about is the call to redraw Mississippi second district, which would push Benny, which where the fears are, which push Benny Thompson out. Now, brother, if you listen to this show, and I think you do, I think you know very well, we don't run, yell, and scream, and smoke and fire. There's the ant and the grasshopper, and on this show, Make It Make Sense, we're the ant. So let me just say that up front. So if you're a little newer, I'm not going to take as much time to go back. And if you caught a few shows, my brother, go back and jump into the beginning of the year and watch us. Because what we've done all year is try to get our people prepared for a moment just like this.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Just like this.
That's why I said it started in Jackson.
We're not panicking. I know I heard people on the radio yesterday. I promise you, it was a little bit comical. I'm not going to lie to you. I know.
23 when this happened.
Huh? No, good. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
What you
I was about to clown, but go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, like they've been doing this, y'all. I mean, it just took some how it took a global response for y'all to respond to it. It been happening locally.
It seems like you only care about the vote.
Yeah.
See, when you knew when something serious like this spun around,
I only care about it because it's been time.
Yeah, the vote. Yeah, I don't know what you thought you'd get out of us when we hit a bump like this any more than when the city and our young people kept hitting them bumps. You didn't care. When our young people kept having everything canceled, you ain't care. And now you think we care about feelings. We don't. We care about the reality. And to your point, you can't come to us when it's time. Now it's a problem. Now everybody wants to scream, oh my God. A lady on the radio yesterday, their name was crying, talking about Benny, and was crying on the radio. This is ridiculous. Benny can't vote himself in. You gonna cry for Benny? You should have been paying attention to them voters all this time, because that's what still matters. And if, for the love of God, if we've come from, and I'm going to say it, and this is me, hey, walk me off air. I'm good for it. If we came from civil rights in the 60s to depending on one man in Mississippi as the end all to us succeeding, then goddamn it, you done lost anyhow. I mean, excuse my like, what you there for? As the young people talk about, what you talking about? And they say it in the way only they can say it. I wish I had one of them just to put it on the mic now. What are you talking about? You cry, you worry now as you should be. But we ring an alarm all year saying voter apathy. People aren't being paid attention to. And guess what? The same people crying, Benny, they were ignoring it. Oh, those are just the young people. They're violent. We don't care nothing about them. So you didn't work on the people that mattered. And now we're in a tight situation, which we are. Nobody want to see the racist white supremacists of Mississippi take over something. But what you're not going to do is keep this fear voting.
What can make sense, call you there?
And then blessings to y'all brothers on this afternoon.
Peace.
Put my 2 cents in. Let me say this, man. Whatever happens in Jackson, whatever happens in Mississippi, the multitude of people down there deserve it. Now, the remnant, the small number of people will suffer for the outcome of what the majority has made provisions to happen. I don't understand why it's a big deal now that they're trying to reconstruct the voting map when most of the people down there don't vote anyway. Look at the mayor election, the last mayor election. This is one of the lowest turnouts that has happened even in the city of Jackson as a mayor elect.
18%, I believe. Right.
100,000.
There's no way that John Horn should have been elected. And again, I'm not condemning him personally.
Understood.
But even just his personal discretion as being a notarized alcoholic, John Horn has no business being a mayor of Jackson. And I'm not here to speak, to bash or speak bad on that brother, because personally I don't know him. But just from a public viewpoint, John Horn has no business being a mayor of Jackson. The youth in Jackson can't even relate to John Horn.
That's right.
He can't relate to them.
Yeah.
He hasn't one time sat down with the youth of Jackson, endeavoring to be involved in what's going on in the community. So when people don't vote, and you get the results of what Jackson is going, what's going on in Jackson right now, with all of these outside individuals that are coming in and buying up all of the stuff in Jackson, redeveloping all the wealth to one particular area, which we know is hungry. I ain't mad. They deserve it. Everybody in Jackson deserves it, because when the time came to show what your voice meant, nobody went out there and voted. And honestly, what has Benny Thompson done? If you go down there and look at Bolton still looks like a town from 1872. I think Bolton got 2 traffic lights. Benny hasn't done nothing for Bolton. And that's what he's from. Everything in Jackson, politic-wise, is a praise and worship service.
Hey, look, I appreciate you. I got one more behind you, my brother. But repeat that last thing, and then I'm going to take the next one. You said everything in Jackson is what? Say that again.
Praise and worship service.
I'm going to take another call, my brother. I appreciate you. I just got to take another one. Listen, that brother just came through that, and you just said a bunch. I'm going to take the next call, and then we'll address that.
What gonna make sense, call you on there?
Hey, how you doing? I just heard the gentleman say that Benny Thompson shouldn't have been elected as mayor, and that he was alcoholic. And
He said John Horn. He said John
I just want to know who he thinks.
No, he was talking about John Horn, my brother. He wasn't talking about Benny Thompson. He was talking about Mayor John Horn. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I was trying to keep you on the air. He wasn't talking about But call back, brother, if you like to. He was talking about Mayor John Horn. He said that Mayor John Horn was an alcohol. And I'm repeating this. It's something we never touch on, but our callers, we're your platform for your voice. So when you speak it, we're always going to repeat it. The gentleman's concern was that Mayor Horn is a known alcoholic, he stated, and that with 18% of the vote, there was such a lackluster amount of voting that there's no way in any political vision that John Horn should have won a mayoral race, especially not the 3rd time around. But, and I wish I still had that brother on the line. But I just like, my brothers, when you yell that out, just don't leave the white supremacy alone. That's all I ask. We one of those people that hold everybody accountable. We don't like pinning black people to the wall while letting their white handlers walk off. We pin them from the bottom up so you can see what they're doing, and then we pin them to the wall. So let's talk about the fact that Downtown Jackson partner, from what we know, put nearly $500,000 behind John Horn. So that's from what we know. Liz Brister was talking about gentrifying before John even came in. Liz Brister, downtown Northside Sun, they got up there and did everything they could to trick. I mean, when people talk about gerrymandering, they told their people to vote, their Republicans to switch over and vote Democrats so that they could sway the election. And then who facilitated that? It links directly to Mayor Horn. So what I don't want us to ever do is to leave the point you're at, my brother. Stop and start on Mayor Horn. If you're going to talk about the folks of Jackson, especially if you're outside of here, please lead with this plantation Democrat coonery that Mayor Horn is doing, and stop there. He was a senator for 30 years. Don't ever pass the buck from a senator of 30 years down to the citizens. And you're not wrong about what some of them did. We know that. We were out there doing the vote. People should have voted. You're absolutely right. They walked themselves into it, and then Senator Horn called folks in Jackson fickle and uneducated because of the fact that he knew that would happen. So you are not wrong, my brother. But we don't need to punch down. Let's punch on a person in power. That's one thing about us as a people. We like to see Mike Tyson and then go look for Riddick Bowe. No, Tyson right there. Go ahead and handle him. Doing excellent, my brother. What's your comment or question for us?
Well, I'm calling in about what we're talking about. I like this conversation. We're going to make some sense. See, number one is Jackson is predominantly black. Okay, you look around, these some black people won't come together, we won't do this. Every time I talk to a black person, they always talk about what we can't do, what we won't do. The greatest he is in you, he is in the world. So as a man thinks, so is he. And they talking about this, think of the market day. They talking about this day of the day. What about the day of the living?
Well, we need to have some of these men think about who in this administration is hurting us with some names. I'm with you. As so a man thinketh, so he does. So who thinketh Mayor Horn is doing something that says he doesn't like black people? Who thinketh that Downtown Jackson partner is getting too much of our money? Who thinketh that LaFleur's Bluff should not be getting nearly $18 million while West and South Jackson can't even get a basketball rim? When men thinketh, God says he blessed child and fools. When men in Jackson and women in Jackson get on this platform, let's start shooting some names and talking about who's doing what to us. You got the platform, my brother, because I agree with you.
Well, I'm tell you what Master said. Master said we got to come together based on what we got in common. You know what we got in common? Majority of us are black and poor. Majority of us are poor. So you got more poor people than you got rich people.
We together though, brother. You hear it. This is the beauty. Listen. I love what you're saying, brother. Listen to me, my brother, because you're in a moment of passion. And I love your spirit. We here. But listen. This is 1 year. We're here. They all listening, brother. They together. And you tell them what you want them to hear. What's the next step?
Well, all I want to say is that the majority of us are poor. Poor people that number rich people.
So what are we poor people going to do right now with this water authority, with this government? What can we do together in Jackson, Mississippi?
Well, the person say like you may say, what you do? You put them in insane asylum. You put them out to the steps, and you learn to deal with the steps. You learn to get away from the physical side. See, we have the people need to separate from these people, man, and doing our own thing. Find out who we is, what we want, what we doing. So we can have one line, one step, one name, and one goal, and we can be one people.
That's right.
In the end, we're going to be divided, man.
That's right.
We some of everything. We some of everything and anything. We're doing the much fun hungry. That's all we doing. We're doing the much fun hungry. Just from limb to limb.
That's true speaking right there, my brother. That's true speaking right there. Coming together is definitely going to be the key to it. Look, you just sounded so passionate. I wanted you to give us that next step, but brother, I agree with everything you said. What'd you say?
Man, it sounded like he was still talking. Why it sound like somebody cut him off?
It did sound like someone cut him off, brother. Call back in if you got cut off, because we certainly didn't. Our fingers didn't go near. It sounded like you were about to say some more. But no. The togetherness is we're here. I think that what he's talking about is 100% where we are. Yeah, I know that bothers me. You got cut off. It sounded like it, but maybe he went to turn the volume up and it hit him. But you know, it's predominantly. But the reason you hear me jump in there, guy, and you may wonder, Tarek, what's going on? What's going on up there? I'm redirecting us to a degree, right? Because we got to get past that. Black people won't do.
Yeah,
that's what make sense is done. So some of y'all gonna come in today. I'm gonna skirt. I'm gonna redirect you. But we're professionals at this, and I've done this a lot long, right? But some of we got to redirect it just to what that next step is.
welcome back, caller.
Welcome back. Yes, sir. It sounded like you were still talking. You were cut off.
Okay, well, I'm back.
Finish what you were saying, my brother.
We need to separate. See, we don't want to separate And so we can be ourselves, find out who we are, what we are, what we want to be as one, not individuals.
That's right.
As one. See, no, we think individuals. See, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they keep us individually, man. We will never be able to contribute to the whole of who we are.
That's right.
We are one. Man told us we are one. See, we got to go to continent. Man, we got to get the name with Africa, man. We got to get the name with our own people. All these people, they tell us about, we sit back and watch watch some people genocide God. Nobody, I thought they were going to stop playing football, basketball, everything. I thought everything was going to sit down. Because they need human beings. A little bit, but the boy ate dirt, man. He said, we eating dirt. Man, them kids gonna grow up.
Hey, but you know who they send in there, brother.
We paying tax dollars. Still our tax dollar, man.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We ain't got nothing to vote for.
That's right.
We ain't voting for Black Power.
Yeah.
We ain't voting for Black Lives Matter. We ain't voting for Black Power. We ain't voting for Black school gotta be open. Black school gotta be taken care of. Gotta be maintenance. Look at our black school. Look at them.
They're non-existent.
In Mississippi. And look at school in Jackson. Ain't no school in Mississippi look like schools in Jackson. This is trash tax, man.
You ain't never lied, brother. You ain't never lied. Give me one more point, man. Take it home, brother. We got 5 more seconds. Give me your last thought, because we appreciate you more than you know. We got other calls, but you're truthful. Tell us one thought to take you home. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. We appreciate you, my brother. Peace. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. I might type that in, but yeah. Listen. I mean, he's 100% correct. I mean, he hit on a lot of things right there, which is why you get a little bit of a stutter from me. But he hit on.
It was passionate, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He's very passionate about it.
He hit on the togetherness we need. He hit on the fact that we need to learn to love ourselves before we talk about collaborating with other people in this movement. And a movement of freedom is what I'm talking about.
And I was gonna say that, you know, voting is one thing, but you know, understanding why you voting is another. You know what I'm saying? You can be a black all day, but like we always talk about 1,000 times on the show, black excellence it's been tampered with. It's not what you think it is. Black excellence can be.
And I love that he said that.
What?
Michael Jordan, and we've always talked about that. Black excellence over individual. What you're talking about? Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Barack Obama. Let's just be real. It's not knocking anybody. When you make me feel why do I feel proud that I didn't feel it? First off, I'm rest in peace. My mother-in-law. There were a lot of people alive that it felt a great feeling to watch happen, right? But my mother, I didn't feel any pride when Barack Obama was elected president. And you can mark my words. I got people watching now that knew me 20, 30 years ago and asked them what I told them. I said, it's the end. I said, that's going to be their stamp to say, now we've righted all the wrongs here in the United States over race, right? But when one black person achieves excellence, that should be a warning red flag, not something that makes us feel good. It should only make us feel good when they tell us things like the birth rate has increased for 1 million black women. That should make us excited. I don't know what, and then people post it. You all look so silly when you all post that. I'm just saying, this is Tarek saying this. Please stop that, because as a people, we look like clowns. When you post, this is the first black millionaire. What the hell? What is that benefiting? What is the first black billionaire benefiting if that person then takes that money and keeps it all to themselves? So why bring them up if they haven't done anything positive with the money? This is the first black CEO of a business. Why does that matter if no other black people exist in the business? What have you actually done? That's a personal excellence. That's the same thing as a white person who nobody in the family went to college. You're just the first in the family that did it, man. You didn't do anything for your race. If you didn't create an opening, if you didn't change the reality of your people with your actions, you did nothing for your race. So I think that everyone is calling in is correct, but one thing that we're here to do, and I thank God we're here, because people get frustrated and people say things like, and brother, you know I'm talking to you, and you know I agree with everything you're saying. But I got to talk to my people, and they don't deserve not one thing that they got here in Jackson. Because you leave your 3 daughters in your house don't mean nobody should rape them. And when you talk about the death and destruction that has come to black folk here based on the money that's being restricted by the state and by other black people here that are taken away from the masses, man, it's death and destruction and poverty, eviction, people getting kicked out, molested, raped. You know how much happens when your leaders don't leave? No, they don't deserve that because they were miseducated. No, they don't deserve that. Hell no, they don't deserve that. Now, a black person that refuses to vote because they never saw it work deserves anything that they get. God is not going to come on that final day and ask the devil to move out the way so they can find the person that the devil took advantage of. That's not how it works. I know y'all like to do that. Sit up there and fire down on the prayer. Hell no, not on this platform. No, we walk in God's shoes. God gonna fire on the person who facilitated it. Ain't got no dumb God up there. I don't know. You may be silly, but he's not. He's not stupid. He knows who facilitated the whole thing. He knows who's the pawn and who's the chess master. Your God in your relationship is a little shaky. Mine didn't. I know good and if I can figure it out, he can. So he knows who's shaping. No, he's not gonna come. You voters, why didn't you vote? To hell with you. No, he don't go to the person that should. Why didn't you tell Mr. Horn? We gonna, and you know a lot of people try to pull you away from John Horn. Well, the voters, no sir, no sir. Then you go into that jail and go into the sex offenders ward and call up all them offenders and tell them what they shouldn't have done. You do that, and I mean every damn word of that. Then these leaders cause young children to be molested. They cause rapes to happen. They cause murders to happen. When you facilitate the money being redirected away from Jackson at a tune of $18 million to LaFleur's Bluff, you are responsible for everything that comes with that. And you think you can sit one back at home and think it doesn't affect you? Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It's going to affect you.
And you just didn't think people knew. And that's the part I think that hurts people the most. Fickle and uneducated, you told on yourself. You couldn't keep your mouth shut. You'd have been around those white men for too long in the Senate, where you could he make them jokes about the black people of Jackson. I've sat with folks from the Department of Health in high positions and listened to it. It's always a black person from one of these areas. I ain't gonna keep jumping on Madison, but it's usually a black person from one of those areas. And when you're in that high up meeting, which I've been in, guess who's the first person to make a joke about black people in Jackson? One of them softback house Negroes that ran from the city because they couldn't steal anymore. And now they're sitting up in a whole nother city out here talking about something. Yeah, them niggas in Jackson, they just don't want to get along. They just don't want to get right. And you sitting up there with your whole house and all your cars coming from what you done took from the city of Jackson. So, you know, and you keep touching on the LaFleur's Bluff situation. And a lot of you all saw that. We might as well touch on it while we still have a little bit of time in here. 601-948-5950. Shout out to the people that call and let them know they listening. We ain't give out the number ones again, and a lot of sturdy callers. I love that. And what type of show you know doesn't get that number out of them calls come popping through, right? Shout out to the young man. But 601-948-5950. Dropping a question on our Facebook page. Make it make sense, Jackson JXN. But the 50 million, you'll see a documentary we put up called Two Cities, One Jackson, right? And it's an excellent documentary. It talks about the fact that you heard Mayor Horn and I saw Lynn Fitch's little buddy, and I'm being facetious, Hillman Frazier. They were talking about how much money has come into Jackson, right? And they said 50 million came into the Jackson metro area. Let me just give you a hint when it comes to metro areas. When you hear anyone say money came to the metro area, that should be your first red flag. It didn't come to Jackson.
Yep.
That should be your first red flag because that's a legal term. Illegally, I said metro, right outside in Hines County. You know, that's how the white folks steal your money. You're the one that steal Metro Water Authority. Yeah, Metro Water Authority, absolutely. So they black this 50 million flowing through 4 million in roads. They didn't tell us that money has to be matched a lot of it. What does that mean? That means you tell your son, hey son, you want a PlayStation? Good. It's $200. I got 100. You get that other 100, we got it. Daddy, I don't work. Where am I get that money from? So first off, that's if you get the money. If you can't get the money, that doesn't get done. So let's take that road work and throw it out the window. You tricked us too many times. 10 million to Jackson State University. IHL got their pick. IHL got their pick. Here come the money flowing. At this point, we have to pretend that this ain't wrong. Jackson State's controlled by the Republican Party, right? They're trying to create a whole other water system in there. You go to the airport, they got white girls in front of this. It's supposed to be an HBCU. I'm not saying a white child can't go there, but the makeup is 99% black and 1% white. Why you got a white girl in front of the poster? Alcohol, same thing. Why you got a white girl in front of that poster? If 99% of your, are you the same problem I have with the LaFleur East, putting nothing but white people in their commercials and on their lines, letting folks know what they want in their city, is the same problem I have with you misrepresenting Jackson State. Or are you misrepresenting? Or are we not understanding? Does the state plan on turning Jackson State into something that doesn't resemble an HBCU? But anyways, they got 10 million for their cafeteria. Do you see this thing? You can't make this stuff up.
LaFleur's Bluff.
No, that's Jackson State. We not even got to the insulting part. But you won't give our children anything, but you'll give Jackson State a new cafeteria. Not that they don't deserve it. What is happening at Jackson State that those children deserve a new cafeteria from the Republican mindset? But Tate didn't feel like our children in South and West Jackson deserve to have the food breakfasts extended after the pandemic. Remember when he cut the school, the summer lunch program? What is the difference about JSU and the black kids in West and South Jackson? Just like, what's the difference about you not wanting LaFleur to get all that money when Lumumba or anyone before him was in there, but you okay with LaFleur getting all this money with John Horn in there? So what about John Horn is so magic
Wait, so
to these white folk?
they gave Jackson State $10 million for a cafeteria.
Mhm.
So what about the Jackson State? They had the rooms in the Walthall Loft. You remember that?
Yeah,
So what about?
yeah, they have a housing crisis.
They had housing crisis. So why they go to the cafeteria?
They're getting a new cafeteria. I mean, to me, it's a gentrification. The people at Jackson State didn't like when I said that, but they don't understand how it works. You can move students out of Jackson State and then welcome in new students.
So
You got a whole group of people, white people, moving back into Jackson, Mississippi with the new police force and with the new mayor. A lot of people have no problem going to a school like Jackson State for a grad or otherwise. What are you about to say, KB? I'm sorry.
No,
We're going to talk about this.
No, it's just, as one of y'all, I think it was you and another one people spoke out and said, but and prior to that situation, you got girls that's got that mixture thing going on, and
With no water, you got people going to school. Yes, we have reports, teachers giving those reports.
y'all worry about a damn cafeteria. I'm sorry.
No. And you got students at JSU that are being forced out and they don't have anywhere to stay. To me, it seems like the government who controls the IHL wants some of those shit kids to leave so that they can bring in a different type of child into Jackson State and make themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what it looks like. According to the South Carolina ruling, we should have been able to redraw wards 1 and 7 here in Jackson and have an all-black city council because those 2 wards are drawn specifically so that a white would represent them. Very good point that he's making here. Great question. What can we do? That's right. And yeah, so and that's a very good point that he's making there. But let's touch real quick on the floor so everybody knows what we're talking about, right? You've read it, this is just a little bit, but you've driven by Old Canton Road and you've seen the gates, older English iron gates they're putting up around LaFleur's Park, right? We told you yesterday there was a MOU, a memorandum of understanding between the city of Jackson and the LaFleur's Bluff East, right? That they would take a few $1 million and invest in the park in the areas around LaFleur Bluff East to make it accessible and beautiful for the name of it, for the city of Jackson, right? That was the MOU, right? So what does LaFleur Bluff East do? I was on next door, and this was someone from their neighborhood that said, are you all putting that fence up to keep people out? LaFleur Bluff East decides to get people out of the community. And then the legislature turns them around, and this is what you call siphoning Jackson's money, the Mississippi Shuffle. Jackson had almost $35 million in ARPA funds that we've been begging for years, that the state refused to pass down. Pandemic money. They refused to pass down. And then talked about how Jackson couldn't get right. That's when that brother called in and said, we deserve it. No, sir. You better talk about what these devils do first. You better never come to the bottom man and talk about you deserve it. That's the rape victim who walked outside in what you deem she shouldn't have had on. And listen, I'm one of those people that will admit, yes, what you wear could lead. I've got 3 daughters. I don't care how you think. I'm talking about what I teach my children. So yes, there's factually that you may give somebody an easier access. That don't mean it's your fault that they feel like they should do something like that. So we ain't never gonna punch on a man on the bottom with all these evils, and that's I know you're bothered, brother. But listen, when we got 15 devils in a room and one little victim that went along with the devils, and we start with the victim that went along with the devil to make us feel like we're working with the devil. So this is the shuffle. You wouldn't give the money to Jackson, then John Horn comes in. You find a way to give the money to LaFleur's East through a memorandum of understanding that you're going to put your money into this first LaFleur's East, so that works for us. And then Shonda Yates, yes, the same Shonda Yates who seemed to help be behind every bill that took power out of black Jacksonians from ruling their own city, from the water to the HB 1020. Shonda Yates gets them $750,000 through legislation. We can't get our money through ARPA or anybody. But as soon as LaFleur East takes control of the park, Shonda Yates can get them nearly $750,000, nearly $1 million from legislature immediately. And then they put a fence up around the tennis club and say it's open from dusk till dawn. But then when you go on LaFleur's East social media pages, you see them talking about the beautiful events they're going to have in there at night. Well, sir, are you all going to be able to use this public park the citizens and the taxpayers are paying for that you done blocked off? And you want to leave one little entry open talking about you can still get in through this little one entry if you know where it's at. And our Mayor Horn is sitting by facilitating this. No, hell no, we're not going to blame voters. No, we're going to blame the man that's patting his pocket, apparently, and is letting all this happen. So you give $13 million to LaFleur's Bluff. Then you give another $5 million to the Children's Museum that sits adjacent to it. From our local representative, Ms. Summers, all the way up to Mr. Thompson, all the way up to Boba. I didn't hear anybody say, why the hell is LaFleur's Bluff getting nearly $20 million?
Okay, make sense, Carl. You on there?
Oh, yes, sir, man. I forgot to mention earlier, man, about what Ted Henderson talking about closing down those wells, man. To save money, man. I'm gonna hang up the list to you guys.
Man, we listen. We worried about who you can stay on or he lost him. Yeah, we need some information from you, my brother. This is what we need to find out. We need to find out why we got people sitting in city council. And this brother was the one that brought it up last time, and it was a good point. He's the one that brought up the fact that we had leaders, I believe it was him, that were in there not like acting like men. That was one of the reasons I stayed on the point, because one of these brothers brought up when they were in a city council meeting and Ted Henderson said City of Jackson doesn't want to pay their bill. This is the type of weakness, and it's a great point, brother. That man, we had Crudup in there, we had Horn in there, we had Brazil in there, we had Stokes in there. We had a few people from we had Gibson. We had a few people there. And to the brother's point, none of them said anything. They just sat by quietly, almost as if they were demasculinated, as one of the callers put it, right? And does that lead in the brother's point to the point where at now, where LaFleur's Bluff is allowed to rape Jackson of $18 million? Listen. Go look at LaFleur's East, right? To this brother's point. And what he's talking about is real. He's talking about, and he probably termed it coonery. I'm not going to say that, but I got the inflection the brother was saying. Coons like John Horn, Leroy Walker, name has popped up when these brothers have called in. These business models, right? That are shifting this away from us to downtown Jackson, partnering to LaFleur's Bluff, showing up at these events, digging dirt with Gabriel Prado and throwing over his shoulders as they gentrify the city. These weak men make hard times. And that's why, to the other brother, I will not blame these people on the bottom for the issue. That old saying matters. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men. And John Horn's daddy was a union organizer, which is one of the toughest jobs you can ever have. I don't care what happened. That's one of the toughest jobs you can have. And maybe that had something to do with it. Strong men make easy times make weak men. And to the caller's point, weak men has let them come in and give LaFleur's Bluff $18 million, and not one of these weak men leading us have said a thing yet. But you go into LaFleur's East and go look at their commercials on their Instagram. We only shop in LaFleur's East, nothing but Caucasians. We only play in LaFleur's East, nothing but Caucasian children. And then this little chubby fellow, cheeky fellow, that then says, he looks at the camera and says, I would only have a business in LaFleur's East. Man, if you can't read between the lines, Governor Tate, it's a bad day to be in Jackson. These are all code words. Instead of saying, man, listen, it's the only place there ain't no N-words here, it's got to the point where I would only live in LaFleur East. And that's who this administration allowed $20 million to be siphoned to. And didn't say a peep, didn't say a word, near what. So when you come and say they're redistricting and oh my God, we're about to lose and never, yes, that looks horrible. But you ain't saying nothing the whole time. Yesterday, she went on my local 21 Oasis stuff up, Benny. This ain't the time to start screaming, Benny. You should have been screaming every single time everything I'm talking about has happened. We wouldn't have to be screaming, Benny. Benny should have been screaming when Lumumba was charged with all these damn crimes. Benny should have been screaming when Tougaloo only had 2 damn votes come out. Well, had you been screaming then, Benny, you would have had a circle of soldiers around you now. When you let one black man get dragged off to the linchpin, don't turn around crying when they take you with him. Damn. God dang it. They dragged that boy to Oxford. Benny ain't saying a damn thing. Now you wonder why they coming for you. Well, they tested the waters, Benny. They drug Antar off. You ain't saying a damn thing. Well, the top dog in Mississippi, NAACP gave that boy a gold coat. Let's see if we can drag him to Oxford and will Benny say anything. Benny, Zakia, Ron Brown, any of y'all have anything? Hattie, any of you all? You all are the most well represented. Any of y'all get anything else to say of dragging Antar to Oxford? No one's saying anything? Oh my. This isn't like when his father was alive. We've made a lot of headway. And if we can do it to him, we're going to take all of you. And then you want to jump on there and cry, Benny! Well, you should have cried that when they was dragging Antar. I'm not talking about the mayor. He lost the mayor's race. What I'm saying is you let them charge that man with 70 crimes. He got a piece of paper with Jody saying on the thing. He ain't going to take no money. He ain't going to do it that way. He just wants a business. Everybody knows it because people didn't like him. You let it happen. Now you talk about the feds are coming for Benny. They already came for Shockwave. What you want us to cry for now? The hell? We don't snitch when it's one, not the other. We good with the feds. Man, where your block at, man? Let me come holler at you. You good with the feds when it's one person. I heard a Negro actually said, yeah, I'm glad they got him. A Negro said that. I was at We Believe Digital. A Negro said, I'm glad they got him, man. God, I hope you ain't got no children. I hope you ain't got, especially no male children.
What gonna make sense call you on there?
You know, good old Benny Tucker's gonna be at Singles tomorrow.
At Siemens?
Yeah, he's gonna be at Singles tomorrow doing his walk around.
Man, But we appreciate the heads up. These brothers just don't learn, man.
Are you telling us to go there? Are you telling us to show up, or are you saying that he's not
He comes into the building, do a walk around, you know, how to show his face to try to get votes and everything. You know, he's a union man.
Yeah. Which listen, I'm not in any way advocating against a vote for Benny Thompson. Please be very clear on what we're saying. What we're saying is that you can't ignore the people, and then when someone is in trouble, so you ignore when the previous mayor gets set up, and we're talking past the vote. We ain't talking vote for mayor. He lost the vote. People didn't vote. That's the way it is. So you let him get set up with all these years with Jody saying the boy won't take nothing. He's too clean. Then they try to drag him to Oxford, and not one of your politicians, your leaders, your preachers, none of them said nothing. Take him to Oxford and string him up. And now Benny's looking at that same fate. I feel the same way about Benny as I felt about any brother. I felt the same way about Shoki. You don't let them do that. I don't feel they should be able to do that to Benny because then they can do it to my son. So I'm not going to be a coon because you was a coon. I'm going to fight to stop any black man from getting drugged to the tree and lynched. That's the old South. I could have hated you, but I'll burn my whole cotton. I mean, we had a sharecrop. I'll burn every cotton plant to stop them from stringing you up. Because that's the brotherhood we have. The problem is Benny didn't have that brotherhood. Where were the rest of these politicians when they tried to move Lumumba's case to Oxford, which was clearly said to set him up with them white folk and make sure that the information coming out they would accept? Where were your leaders at then? Where was Benny at when 2 votes came out of Tougaloo? I'm not saying he shouldn't be helped. This is what I'm saying. The reason Benny's in this situation is because when you let them do to one black man, they're going to do to all of us. That's all. Yes, sir. Any final thoughts before we take another one, my brother?
No, go ahead. Good job.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Thank you. Good job on your part, brother. Y'all keep us going. But that's what I'm saying. The chicken's going to come home to roost. That's why we don't rush topics here at Make It Make Sense, Jackson. We've been on air over a year. This trial been going on. We don't need to rush it. The chicken, as Brother Malcolm said, yes, sir, if not the hottest show. We ain't going to say that because of our humility, but the numbers say something different.
I said over 100 show.
Oh, 100 show. I'm sorry. Now I sound racist.
And
the hottest show. Yeah. But Malcolm said it. The chicken's going to come home to roost. And you fight still. I'm still fighting in any way possible to stop white supremacy from reigning in the Delta as far as anywhere else. What make you think I would step to the side against white supremacy? So if you think we divisive, we just not finna start crying like y'all. No, man, y'all should have been crying when they were locking black men up, period, for having the audacity to say, no, Tate, you can't have some. Y'all all knew why they wanted him locked up. You might have knew why you didn't want him to be mayor. You voted him out. But you all knew why they wanted him locked up. Everyone in Jackson, there's not one person in Jackson that intelligently believes that Chokwe Lumumba was over there trying to sell off the city. They may have thought he wasn't supposed to be mayor, and that's why he voted. Not one person. They tell you they're drinking. They're drinking. Owens didn't even say that. He's not taking them up. They know it. So you turn the other face when they try to drag him off there, and now you see other people lining up, and you want us to get all in arms. Yeah. You must have lost your damn mind.
Like I told you, when I was coming from my house, they had that sign up. It ain't been took down yet. They
put up a Chokwe sign. They put up a Chokwe sign and bang that joint into the pool.
Bang it
Yeah, some people want that parent back. Now, you ever go to your friend's house and the parent just lets you do anything? It's 3 in the morning, you done ate so much sugar, you feel like you about to hurl, and you like, God, I just want a little bit of the balance in my house back. Sometimes folks want a little bit of a parental figure that will at least stand up for you. Your mother may not be the best mother in the house when you're there, but God, you at least want to know your mother gonna protect you when you walk outside. And this leader's not protecting them one Jacksonian when they walk outside. And whatever beef you may have with the previous mayors, let's not just aim at Chokwe. The previous mayors, a lot of people felt they would protect them better than this. I don't hear people talking like this about y'all, about melting about anybody. Not the way John's doing. I ain't trying to get nothing for nobody. It don't even seem like he's getting anything out of it. It gets scary. It gets really scary. So, yeah, LaFleur's Bluff, please go look at LaFleur's Bluff East if they allow you to get onto their page and look at who this administration and your city councilman, none of them ring the bell. So it's twofold. Again, let's make this very clear. For all of you all, and I never brought up this, sister started crying about Benny on air, and that's why it was just like when remember when I said this? I made a statement after we came back, as a young man, I came back from Rolling Fork, right, during the storms. It was very emotional, and I said, well, damn, what would be different if we had a racist white senator over this area? Couldn't be much difference in how bad we're living, right? And first one, don't you talk about it. Have we said anything about the senator? We said nothing about the senator over there. Hit dogs holler unnecessarily, and you cause a division within the community. We're talking about the reality, right? Now, you look at what's happening right now, and you ask yourself, Why is the Democratic Party splintering? Well, you have the president of Piney Woods, who came from the Obama administration, Crossley, who you got workers telling me he's meeting with Tate Reeves, having to clean off cars so Tate Reeves can come visit with him. The Obama administration meeting with Tate Reeves, and we got Democrats wondering why the Democratic Party is losing traction. Make it make sense, Jackson. But you want to punch down on the voters. You have a Democratic National Party that's existing, but you have a Democratic mayor that is making nothing but business deals with Republican entities in the downtown Jackson partners and beyond. But the Democratic National Party hasn't said a thing. So the same way when they locked Chokwe, now you got Betty and now everybody want to cry, they're going to probably try to drag Betty over to Oxford. And you know my head, Mr. Thompson, we're going to fight against white supremacy every day because that's what we do. So you will benefit from me and this young man. All of you will, even though a lot of you don't deserve it. Because you worm-back Negroes didn't do nothing to stop nothing. But you're still going to benefit from this fight. But what we say to you next time they try to drag a black man to the gallows, say something. All of these local politicians that kept your mouth shut, the whole United States will know when this is written. When they uncover that trial and all them snitches come out of that trial and they find out how much they went through to try to entrap that last mayor and realize, well, you could have voted him out as mayor, but look at what you did. All of you little local politicians who didn't say nothing and sat by while it happened, all your names will be part of that story. Best believe it. Silence is not your friend. Evil people stay silent, and that's how evil flourishes, period. The word good shouldn't even be in that whole sentence. Good men stay silent. No, the hell they don't. They're not good. Evil, weak, rubberback men stay silent, and that's how evil flourishes. Not on our watch. So you let them take LaFleur's bluff and get 18 million, and not one of your sorry politicians told you that was happening. And the first thing LaFleur Bluff did said, keep them Negroes out. They couldn't even wait until the paper ink had signed on the paper before they put a sign up and some cameras. Keep them Negroes out. We got this perfect. Think about it. We got this little park gated off. We got Jackson Academy. Jackson Academy's Negro workers have to park in the park. They don't even let them on the property with their cars. Yeah, Jackson Academy's Negro workers have to park across the lot in a little lot and then park one of the streets that has the most traffic in the morning, which is going to Flowood. They taking this back to 1990. They're about to film the help part too. So we blocked this park off. Now we got this whole Ridgewood, right? Runs all the way to Flowood. That goes into Eastover. Man, we done blocked this whole, we done created, now that take a right. That goes up towards Fondren. You see what I'm doing here? We done created, we done took a whole part of Jackson. And we took their money with it. You can live wherever the hell you want to live. But you for the damn sure don't need to take our 20 million to do it. But you want to turn around all you Madisonians and Flowoodians and Ridgelandians, and I made that up. You want to talk about how Jackson just can't get right, you thieving sons of guns? Shut your mouth. The only reason you got brick to drive around in is because you're stealing. Tell your children at these PWIs, when they see their face running across that big Jumbotron, especially if you got black children, yeah, them Jumbotrons came off Jackson's back. All your new turf off Jackson's back. This whole city off Jackson's back. And if you don't believe it, go ask them what they did. Can you tell me the plan you did to vitalize a place like this? Tell me what you did to infuse Madison. Watch how we get quiet. Well, we got to go. We got to go drink some coffee. They ain't doing a damn thing to vitalize Madison or Pearl, any of those places, but steal from us. The only reason you got anything in Mississippi is because you built it off the back of black people. Y'all better stop getting so jiggy in these comments, and you Negroes sit up there agreeing with them, we're going to smoke you out because you're more hurtful than not. I done worked in business with you. I done sat in hiring places when someone tries to test being racist. Hey, guys, I didn't like Jamal because ABC. What do you think about that? And I seen that sad Negro say, yeah, Jamal was that. I think that may happen. This ain't your day no more. Caller, you got about 30 seconds before we land.
Welcome to Make Sense. You got 30 seconds.
I'm just tuning in. I don't know what's all been said.
Oh.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying right now. My question is, for them to be able to do what they have done, it's shame on us in a sense, on the flip side of the coin, that the people who are supposed to be representing us while this stuff was being done didn't have the best interest of the citizens of Jackson at heart at all.
That's right.
They allowed it to happen.
That's right.
We put them in office.
That's right.
Start doing something different if we want something different.
Yes, sir.
That's all I wanted to say, bro.
We appreciate you, my brother. And let me ride off that one more minute. That's something different, Jackson. We need to do, Mississippi. You know somebody who supported. Stop starting things from the point that you find out about it. You got to root cause analysis and go back personally. How many people do you know that supported downtown Jackson Partners somehow or some way during the elections? How many people do you know that supported these people that are doing that during the election? You got to reach out to your friends and family and touch them. How many radio stations cut us off when we were trying to take callers from right before Betty Thompson went? You want to cry about Betty Thompson yesterday, but when you could have used us as a platform to help get votes for him, you wanted to sabotage us and make sure that the people that wanted the truth didn't get out there. How many of you all cared about that when Rep. Bo Brown called in and said, why they in there talking about that? You can't start from today, Jackson. You will get burnt. You better go back to these times when these Negroes were shuffling around, because when you see Ashby Foote down there at a meeting, sitting back there with Vernon Hartley, and they doing this together, and then Foote turns around and insults a black woman, when you see two black men and Gabriel Prado reaches out to other black men and says, can you stop them? Stop blaming anyone but these Negroes doing it. You're a coward. You have a worm back. You're a coward, and you don't even deserve to be in this vicinity fighting for what you think is justice. I'll let the music go over because at a certain point, Jackson, you better have some god-darn courage to not worry about what happens to you. Stop letting these weak men take stuff away from you. Have a platform no matter who gives it to you. And let me tell you something. I'll be on a damn box in the middle of West Jackson before I let someone else control the messages coming for you. You talking to a real live man here. And I pray to God that some of you find a day where you get to be that. Because it's a beautiful place. Even if it's 24 hours and they take my last breath, being a man is a beautiful thing. We'll be tomorrow, We Believe Digital, 5:30 for my co-host.
Actually, tomorrow we'll still be here.
We'll still be here, 4 p.m. for my co-host.
Yeah, fair.
And myself, Tarek Abdul-Tawwab. I am a man. I love you, Jackson. We out. You know, you like that. I am a man. You got to talk to him like that.
Yeah, I mean, shit,
Man, no, nothing's more important. Nobody should be trying to get us off. Everybody should be looking for ways to give us more time. Everybody should be looking for ways. And if they're not, then the people need to know they're not. Everybody should be trying to get us on more. If that same motivation to run in here and get us off here, use that same motivation to get us more time, my brothers.
My mama love.